welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host Amanda, and I've titled this week's episode, Kids Say the Darndest Things. And if you don't understand why I picked that title, you will in a few minutes. I am so sorry. I sincerely apologize for the episode coming out so late. I was not feeling well yesterday at all, and I just couldn't record. I feel a little bit better today, so better late than never, right guys? Alright guys, let's get into our comments. The first comment is from Ken C. Hey, my mouth dropped when baby Beth, aka Phoebe, said mama. It was so good, I had to DVR it. Steffi looked amazing, as always, and I was surprised Bill wasn't there for Katie. I thought maybe he can be there for Liam. And the look Kelly was giving was hilarious. I just wanted Bill to be there to support Liam. I totally agree, Ken. I have no idea why Bill wasn't there. Thank you so much, Ken, for your comment. Our next comment comes from Maria M4114. She has 2 hearts. Thank you, baby Beth. That is your mama. Yes, that's what I wish someone would have came in to the wedding and screamed at Hope and Liam, but it didn't happen, did it? Thank you so much for your comment, Maria. Our next comment comes from Janet M564. Can't wait until tomorrow to see what happens next. It's time to get the police out. Thank you so much, Janet, for your comment. And our very last comment comes from Ethel M51. And this made me laugh because it's referring to when Phoebe/Beth grabbed Hope's dress and interrupted the ceremony. And she wrote, "Did Carter say if anyone here has anything to say, speak now or forever hold your peace?" And I was like, if he did say that, the whole wedding should have stood up. Am I wrong? Except for Ridge, of course. Blind, oblivious Ridge. Thank you so much for your comment, Ethel. That's all the comments I have for this week. So let's get into the news. You all know that I normally never do any spoilers. Because if you do spoilers, what is the point of watching it? In this case, though, I have to say, even though I'm quite nervous to say it, I have to say that I actually think the truth is coming out next week, and then the week after we get the fallout. So I think next week it's going to drag about. We're going to be in different places, and different people are going to find out at different times. And then the next week we're going to have the fallout where everyone connects and it just goes bananas, and I can't wait. But I truly think from the spoilers I've looked at, the truth is coming out, guys. Do you know how long we've waited for this? We have all patiently waited for this moment. So, next week, it should be really, really good, guys. Before I say this, I want to make something clear. I love Steffi. I am a Steffi fan. I do not hate her. I'm just not a Steam fan. I'm not a Steffi and Liam fan. I do not have anything against Steffi, and I love her. Now, for another spoiler. I was upset when I read this because what is happening? Okay? That's the first thing I thought was, what is happening? From what I read, when the truth comes out, Steffi and Hope are not going to see eye to eye on Beth. Excuse me, what? There is no eye to eye. I don't understand this. And it made me angry. Because there is no fight. There is no eye to eye. I don't understand. It's Hope's child, who she did not voluntarily give up for adoption. So there is no argument. The documents are fake. The birth certificate's fake. There is no argument. Having said that, I will be very upset if Steffi tries to keep Hope's child, because that would be so wrong. I'm hoping the conflict is regarding something else having to do with Beth, but we shall see. That's all in the news I have for this week, guys. Enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. So that brings us into Monday, the 22nd. The show opens at the wedding. Beth/Phoebe has interrupted the ceremony and everyone's kind of freaked out. But the wedding continues and we see Liam and he's very upset. They exchange vows, they exchange rings, and oh my gosh, Hope did it. She did it. She actually went through with it. And it's so obvious she isn't even happy and she really doesn't even want to be there. It was so obvious to everyone. Now we head over to Forrester Creations with Zoe and Flo. Flo's drinking right out of the bottle, and Zoe is trying to talk her out of going to the wedding. But she is determined to go, and she wants to tell Hope the truth. It's SOS, guys, different week. They have the same old argument, and Flo gets mad and leaves, while Zoe is yelling at her to stop. Same thing, different day. Now we head back to the wedding reception. We actually got to see Eric and Quinn for a minute, and it was cute because Eric said he was going to go jump in the bouncy house. Across the room, Brooke and Liam are whispering about how this marriage and Hope's actions are ridiculous, and it's so obvious she doesn't even love Thomas. Finally, someone says it. Everybody can see it. Trust me, everyone can see it. Steffi walks over and she's not happy with these two. And she tells Liam that they need to go congratulate the happy couple. And Liam looks at Brooke and rolls his eyes. Steffi congratulates the happy couple, air quotes. And Liam basically says, I hope this marriage and the family that comes with it makes you happy. Not exactly a congrats. Then they start talking about what Phoebe/Beth did, and it's obvious that Steffi is slightly jealous that Phoebe/Beth called Hope mama and pulled on her dress. Hope says, don't worry, Steffi, she knows who her mama is. And I was like, I just wanted to scream. Then Flo walks in, but before she can say anything to anyone, Pam grabs her and takes her to the kitchen and asks her to help with the food. Then Hope tells Ridge, Brooke, and Thomas that she's not feeling well and she needs to go lie down for a little bit. She feels headachy. So she goes upstairs to rest in Ridge and Brooke's bedroom. Thomas takes the opportunity to assure Brooke that she will be on their side eventually when she sees how happy he can make Hope. A little later on, Flo is chit-chatting with the Logan women, and she finds out about what happened with Phoebe. She's shocked. Then Liam walks up looking for Hope, and Brooke's like, oh yeah, I know exactly where she is. Why don't you go check on her? And I'm like, oh my gosh, really, Brooke? So, of course, Liam goes upstairs to check on Hope. Thomas sees Flo and he's not happy that she's there. Meanwhile, upstairs, Liam tells Hope that he had to see her. And Hope's like, why? His answer was just awesome. I loved his answer. He said, "You know why? You married the wrong guy." And I was like, yes, exactly. Exactly. Hope tells Liam that he knows where her heart is. Yeah, Hope. Exactly. That's why he's upset. He knows you don't love Thomas. She does admit that she only married Thomas for Douglas. And this really, really made me angry. Hope actually thinks that Beth was speaking through Phoebe as a sign that she should marry Thomas. And Liam is so sad. And I'm like, wait, excuse me? I literally wanted to throw something at my TV, at Hope. But I didn't want to break my TV. Don't get me wrong. I believe in signs and all that stuff. I do. But she is interpreting the sign wrong. Because it was a sign from Beth. She was trying to stop the wedding. Okay? It was a sign, Hope. But for you not to marry Thomas. Of course Hope gets it messed up. Of course she does. In her defense, she hasn't seen any of the mean things Thomas has done. So she doesn't think he's a bad guy, right? She's not seeing what we're seeing. This actually reminds me of The Bachelorette. Because when I watch The Bachelorette, sometimes I get so angry because I'm like, how can she not see it? Right? How can she not see he's such an a-hole? But then you have to remember, she doesn't see what we see. She doesn't see what's going on when he's not with her. It's like, this is what it reminded me of, is Hope is completely blind. She has no idea. And she's vulnerable and naive. Exactly the way Thomas wants her. Back downstairs, Ridge tells Steffi that he's mad that Liam is upstairs with Hope. He should stay away from Hope because she's married now. Huh. That didn't stop Thomas, did it? The hypocrisy on this show is just wow. Steffi has to leave because the girls are getting cranky. So Thomas walks over to where Katie, Donna, and Brooke, the Logan women, and Flo are all talking. And he tells them that he thinks it's very inappropriate that Liam is up there talking to Hope alone. Anything that he tells her, he should be able to say in front of her husband. And Flo says, kind of like a threat, everything should be out in the open, right, Thomas? And so, of course, Thomas takes this as a threat. Everyone goes outside, and Thomas grabs Flo and tells her that he's calling her a cab. And I'm like, excuse me, do not, what? Do not grab Flo. Okay, do not grab her, sir. But Flo insisted that she wanted to see Hope before she left. But you know Thomas is not going to have that. He's not going to let that happen. And he says that Hope is his now. Like she's a possession. Flo thinks Hope never would have married Thomas if she knew the truth. And she wants to tell her. What they don't realize is Liam has just walked into the room and is about to come down the stairs. But he hears them fighting. So he quickly hides so he can listen to what's going on. Thomas tells Flo that she's leaving. And he grabs her again. Excuse me. No. And Flo says, look, I have to tell Hope because this isn't right. And then Thomas actually threatens her. He says she will keep this secret until the day she dies or else. And then he makes her leave. And we see Liam asking, what secret? And that's how Monday ends. Oh, perfect, careful Thomas. He's making mistakes. So that brings us into Tuesday. The show opens at Bikini Bar with Wyatt and Liam. Liam is telling Wyatt what happened at the wedding and what he overheard. Flo and Thomas fighting, and they have a secret, and it's about Hope. In your face, Wyatt. Miss Perfect is not so perfect now, is she? Wyatt is shocked and he's pissed. Liam explains everything and begs him to try and find out what the secret is. Wyatt is so upset because this is the same thing that happened with Sally. And he's like, oh my gosh, not again. And Liam tells him it is always frickin' Thomas. They both agree that they hate Thomas. Over at Wyatt's beach house, Flo gets a text from Thomas, and it's a threat. You shouldn't have come to the wedding. Keep your mouth shut or else. Then Shauna walks in, and she wants to know what's wrong. So Flo says, it's Thomas. He is really scary. He's threatened me twice. Now, Shauna is not too happy to find out this information. But Flo wants her to stay out of it. And once again, SOS, different week. Shauna tells Flo the same thing she always does. Keep her mouth shut, don't upset Thomas, and do everything he says. What the F? Excuse me, what? That's your advice to your child. She's being threatened, and you're gonna tell her just do whatever the psycho wants. Great advice, Mom. Great advice. So Shauna leaves and Wyatt returns home. Flo starts telling Wyatt that she basically hates Thomas. And Wyatt can obviously see that Flo is upset. And he begs her to tell him what's going on. He knows she's hiding something. And Flo breaks down and she says she can't do it anymore. Then we head over to Brooke's house with Douglas, Thomas, and Hope. Hope informs Thomas that she was planning on staying the night with Douglas. This makes Thomas so angry, and he's having a hard time hiding his anger from Hope. Hope goes to change clothes, and while she's gone, Thomas uses Douglas once again. He tells him that Hope really wants to stay the night with him. She's just being nice. And for Douglas to tell Hope to sleep with his daddy so they can be a real mommy and daddy. Creepy and gross. And of course he does it because he is an adorable little boy who wants to help his daddy. So Thomas now thinks he has Hope cornered into staying the night with him. So they go to Thomas's bedroom and he tells Hope that they are married so they should be together. And he has rose petals all over the room and on the bed. And he's making the moves on Hope. They start making out. And it's getting heated. And Hope stops him. You can clearly tell she's uncomfortable. She just can't do it. And she leaves. And Thomas is pissed. So he gets all creepy and weird. Okay? And like super intense. And he starts talking to himself out loud. And he's like, what kind of girl gets married and doesn't sleep with her husband? I have to say, I actually loved this because Matthew was killing it. Like, it was so creepy and scary. Like, I even got chill bumps from it. It was just so weird. And he's pacing the room. He's talking out loud and he's like, Hope will come around. She loves me. Really? And Liam, he needs to stay away from Hope and go back to my sister. And Flo, does she want to go to prison? So stupid. I'm surrounded by idiots. And then he's telling himself, just chill. Just chill. Douglas has a mother and Hope is mine. He's so scary. And I was like, this is really, really good acting. Really good acting. Meanwhile, downstairs, Hope is in the living room and she gets a call from Liam. And he's so relieved to find out that she couldn't go through with sleeping with Thomas. And he tells her there's forces working against them again. And to hang in there. And she's so confused because she don't know what the hell he's talking about. And he's like, just hang in there because he's going to get to the bottom of it. And that he loves her. And then Douglas wakes up and calls for his mommy. And she hangs up on Liam. Then Liam remembers what Thomas said to Flo. And that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday. The show opens at Brooke's house with Brooke and Hope. And Brooke comes downstairs and she's not really that surprised to see Hope because they both know this marriage was a mistake. And the fact that Hope is downstairs sleeping on the couch on her wedding night should tell her something. But Hope does not want to hear it. She explains that she just needs time, but tonight she's sleeping alone. And once again, Brooke tries to get through to her. She begs her to annul the marriage. Hope then breaks down, and it was very sad because she says that it was very hard when Phoebe called her mama. And she feels a very strong pull to Phoebe, and she doesn't know why. And that she's too scared to have another child of her own because she would not survive losing another child. That's why she has to be Douglas's mother. Now we head over to Wyatt's with Wyatt and Flo. Flo is scared that if she tells Wyatt, he will never talk to her again. She is about to spill the beans and she gets another threatening text from Thomas. Wyatt assures her that he will stick by her no matter what. It can't be that bad. Just wait, Wyatt. Of course, Flo chickens out and she tells him she's thinking about going back to Vegas. She keeps saying that she doesn't deserve this life. Then Wyatt assures her that she does. And he tells her if she really wants to leave, he will understand. Then she starts talking about how she doesn't really want to leave. And all the stuff she wants to do with Wyatt that she's never done. Like get married, buy a house, have a baby. She slips and says she's never had a baby. Sort of. And Wyatt freaks out. He's like, what about Phoebe? Oops. But of course, she covers her butt. She tells him that it was so hard to give her baby up. She don't like to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes to take a shower. And I honestly thought Wyatt was going to check her phone. Because honestly, that's what I would have done. Normally, I wouldn't check someone's phone. I've never checked my husband's phone, and that is not a lie. But if I don't trust the person, or I know something's going on, I would have to check her phone. Back over at Brooke's, it was so sad. Hope is laying down on the couch, and she's thinking about Liam. And we get a montage of when Liam and Hope were happy. And she was so sad, laying there, and she was crying. And I was like, wow, bravo, Annika. Annika's performance, man, all of her performances have been phenomenal. Now we head over to Steffi's. Liam asks Steffi what she knows about Flo. And he explains that Flo was acting weird at the wedding and he wants to know if Steffi knows why. She says no, but she hopes that Flo's okay because they wouldn't have Phoebe without Flo. And Liam starts asking a lot of questions. And Steffi is like, why are you asking so many questions? And Liam tries to play it off. And he doesn't tell Steffi about what he overheard at the wedding. So she tells Liam, if you really want to know about Flo, why don't you reach out to Wyatt? So Steffi goes to bed and Liam calls Wyatt to see if he got any info out of Flo. But Wyatt didn't find out the secret yet. But he knows something is up and he thinks it has something to do with Phoebe. Really, Wyatt? Good job. He tells Liam what Flo said about never having a baby. And now Liam is very suspicious. He knows Thomas has a secret and he thinks it's really big. Liam goes in to check on Phoebe And she's fine. She's adorable. And then he comes back out of the nursery and he starts searching all over the house for Phoebe's paperwork. Adoption papers, birth certificate, etc. He finds them and he starts searching, looking for any kind of clue to what's going on. And that's how Wednesday ends. Sherlock Liam, huh? This should have been done months ago, by the way. So that brings us into Thursday. The show opens at Steffi's with Liam and Steffi, and Liam is still looking at the paperwork for the adoption. And Steffi wants to know what he's looking for. He wants to know why Flo was in LA in the first place. If she gave birth in Las Vegas, what was she doing in LA? Then he asked, what is Flo's relationship with Thomas? Of course, Steffi finds that a strange question. She finds that odd, and it's basically non-existent. So Liam asked her to walk him through the adoption again, from the very beginning. He's trying to figure out who helped Flo with the adoption. Who does she know in LA? Steffi doesn't know, because remember, Reese insisted Taylor keep it secret. Liam thinks it's strange that she doesn't know the facilitator of the adoption. He's like, did you not ask questions? And she's like, of course I did. When he learns the original birth certificate is locked away for privacy reasons, he gets even more suspicious. He tells Steffi that he just wants to know everything about the adoption if he's going to raise Phoebe as his own. She assures him everything is on the up and up. But Liam is determined to get to the bottom of this secret. So he calls the hospital in Vegas to see if he can get any information about Flo. Now we head over to Brooke's house with Hope and Thomas. And Thomas kisses Hope good morning. She backs away immediately. And it's so obvious that she hates when he touches her. Thomas informs Hope that he has set up a staycation honeymoon for just the two of them tonight. She tells him to make the arrangements for Douglas and she'll think about it, which he does not like that answer. He can always text her later and then she leaves for work. Now, what does that tell you guys? She's going to work the day after she got married. That's just strange. Over at Forrester, Flo has a run-in with Ridge. And I'll be honest, I had a very quick moment of feeling sorry for Flo because she was so scared that she locked the office door and she had to get up and unlock it to let Ridge in. But I got over it real quick, don't worry. So Ridge tries to convince Flo to give Thomas a chance. She doesn't know the real Thomas. That is hilarious. Oblivious, blind Ridge. Hello, Ridge. How's Oblivion? Seriously? And Flo is like, well, I've never said a bad word about Thomas. And he tells her that he can read it all over her face. She doesn't have to say anything. Then Ridge leaves and she gets a call from Thomas and she hangs up on him, which really makes him mad. Like, it really makes him crazy. So he calls her back and she answers and he, of course, threatens her again. Then he tells her that no one will ever find out that Phoebe is Beth or that Beth is alive. Guess what, guys? Crack in the door alert. What Thomas doesn't realize is that through a crack in the door, Douglas is listening to his conversation. Uh-oh. When he notices, he freaks out and he tries to just act normal. And he does. He tells Douglas that he's going to go stay with Steffi and he basically just acts normal and he just decides he's going to ignore the fact that he might have hurt him. Then Douglas asks why he said Beth was alive. And Thomas says that he didn't. but Douglas insists he heard him say it on the phone. And Thomas tells him that he would never say anything so mean. And Douglas better not say anything either. And then he grabs the poor boy by the arm and shakes him and squeezes him. And Douglas is like, ouch, that hurts, you're so mean. And then Thomas says, I'm your father and I'm serious. I better not hear those words again. Then Douglas says, but I heard you say Beth is Phoebe and baby Beth is alive. And he also wants to know why Thomas never talks about his mommy. And Thomas is like, your mom's dead. I was like, alrighty then. Okay. Alright. Nice. So, Hope is your new mommy now. Wow. So then Thomas stoops to a whole new low. Like lower than low. He tells poor Douglas that he has given him everything. A house, food, a new mommy, Hope. And that if Douglas is so unhappy, Hope and I will go back to New York and leave you here alone, all by yourself, all on your own. And Douglas is like, I don't want to be left by myself. And Thomas tells him that he has to obey him then. And he's not allowed to say Beth's name ever again. Then Thomas leaves. And Douglas looks in the mirror and he says, Beth is alive. Baby Beth is alive. And that's how Thursday ends. So that brings us into Friday, the 26th. The show actually opens at Steffi's, but we're going to start at Forrester and circle back. Over at Forrester with Hope and Flo just straight out asked, why in the hell is Hope doing these things that she clearly doesn't want to do? It's so obvious this marriage is not real or right. Then Hope gives the same speech. She can't have children for Liam or with Liam, and she's not going to deny him that, blah, blah, blah. So Flo tries to talk some sense into Hope. She doesn't agree with Hope marrying Thomas, that's obvious. And she just wants Hope to be happy. But she's scared she's never going to be happy without Liam. Good point. Over at Brooks with Douglas and Thomas, Douglas is still looking in the mirror and Thomas comes back into the room to talk to him and to apologize for getting mad at him, but also to make sure he knows he can never say what he heard to anyone ever. So Thomas explains that if he repeats what he thinks he heard, it will hurt Hope and Steffi, and he doesn't want to do that. Let me apologize if you hear my dog in the background. He's throwing a fit and breathing as heavy as he could possibly breathe because he's mad that I'm recording. And he's throwing a little fit back here. So I'm sorry if you hear him. He's a big baby. Then Thomas calls Hope and they agree to meet at Steffi's to drop Douglas off. Before Hope leaves the office, Flo warns her to be careful with Thomas because he's very intense. That's the truth. Now, how can Flo look at Hope in the face, knowing that she's about to go have a honeymoon with Thomas, knowing that he's crazy, and not say anything? No, absolutely not. I do not feel sorry for Flo. Not gonna feel sorry for her. I'm not doing it. Hope leaves the office and Zoe walks in. So Flo tells Zoe what happened at the wedding. And she tells her that she's scared because Thomas threatened her life. And he meant it. Zoe is shocked and freaked out that Phoebe called Hope Mama. And Flo tells her that this is so much bigger than just them now. And that Hope might find out the truth without their help. Now we head over to Steffi's with Steffi and Liam. Liam is still on hold with the hospital. He's trying to find out any info he can on Flo. If she was a patient or anything like that. But with the HIPAA laws, they can't give him that information. But he leaves a message for Dr. Cortez Now, that's the doctor on the birth certificate, to call him back as soon as he can. Then Steffi brings in Phoebe to see Liam. And Liam thinks it's very strange how everything just fell right into place the minute Steffi wanted to adopt a baby. Steffi tells Liam that Douglas is coming to stay and about the staycation honeymoon. Liam is very unhappy to hear this information, and he calls Thomas a predator. It was so funny. I loved it, but it made Steffi mad. And she said he needs to get over it and he needs to support them. Then Hope walks in, and she's so happy to see Phoebe. And then Thomas and Douglas come in. And Thomas takes the baby away from Hope so that he can hold her, supposedly. But then immediately, after not even 2 minutes, gives her back to Steffi. And I'm thinking, Thomas is such an a-hole. He is such I can't say it. He starts taunting Liam about his big night that will leave Hope breathless. So nasty, so rude. Then Douglas asked if Phoebe's name was always Phoebe, which pisses Thomas off. So Thomas goes to help Steffi put Phoebe down for a nap. And while they're gone, Douglas hears Liam and Hope whispering about Beth. And Liam again is telling Hope how absurd it is that she married Thomas. And Douglas tells them that baby Beth is not gone. She's alive. Baby Beth is alive. And Hope's like, what? And he's like, yeah, she's alive. And that's how Friday ends. On a cliffhanger, which is my favorite way to end the week. So let's analyze this and break it down. Okay, let's talk about Ridge first. I don't like that they are making Ridge so oblivious. Don't you know your son at all? He used to. Okay, he used to. And I hate that they're making him so, I don't even know what the word is. Blind. It's like he's just completely blind to the way Thomas is behaving and acting. And I guess sometimes when you're really close to someone or you're in it, you don't see everything. So you can't see what everyone else sees. You know, the people on the outside looking in. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Let's talk about Flo and Zoe. Flo and Zoe are going to be sorry that they waited this long to tell Hope about Beth. If they even tell her. Obviously, it's not even going to be them who tell her. Douglas tells her, but I'm positive Thomas is going to come up with a way to cover that. I know he is. That's why I'm not that excited, because I absolutely know Thomas is going to come up with something to cover his tracks. He's going to say, oh, Douglas didn't mean it, he's just confused, or something like that. I just know it. I have zero sympathy for Zoe and Flo. Zero. I refuse to feel sorry for either one of them. The fact that they waited this long to say anything and still have not said anything after all of the stuff Thomas has done, it is ridiculous. They deserve what they get. Let's talk about Wyatt for a second. I have mixed emotions on this big time. Okay? Wyatt got hurt by Sally's lie. But he's really going to be hurt by Flo's. He's going to be devastated by Flo's. And honestly, overall, Wyatt is not a bad guy. He's actually a pretty good guy. And I think he really doesn't deserve to keep getting hurt. But, on the other hand, karma what goes around comes around. And he treated Sally poorly. Honestly, it was almost like Quinn and Wyatt put Flo on this pedestal. And it's like Flo is above Sally. Like Flo's way up here and Sally's way down here. And I did not like it. I never liked it. I thought it was so stupid and rude. Flo is a liar. Okay? She does not deserve to be put on a pedestal. I'm sorry. But I do feel bad for Wyatt. I'm not going to lie because I love Wyatt. I feel really, really bad for him. I know he's going to be devastated. Now, let's talk about Liam. Finally, Liam is investigating. This should have been done months ago. Months and months ago, this should have been done. But I do appreciate Sherlock and Watson's skills, right? I appreciate Liam and Wyatt trying to figure this out. And I think Liam is going to figure it out. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time. Because I don't think they're going to believe Douglas. I really don't. Kids say the darndest things. And I just know Thomas is going to have some kind of way to get out of it. I just know it. But I hope Liam just keeps digging and keeps digging. Now let's talk about Thomas for a second. I cannot wait to see Thomas go down. I cannot wait. It's going to be so good, so good to see Thomas go down. I'm hoping nothing bad happens. I'm hoping Liam finds out before Thomas does something really unforgivable. Because Thomas is going to do anything, including drugging Hope if he has to get her to sleep with him. Because in his warped mind, for some reason, he thinks if he can get Hope to sleep with him, that then she will all of a sudden, be locked to him and not love Liam anymore. It's just insane. Okay? People have one night stands all the time. People have sex with people, and that does not mean that you now own that person or that they're magically in love with you. Okay? Let's be real. Thomas needs to go down, and I cannot wait for it to happen. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so sorry that the podcast is late. If you listen on iTunes, please give me a 5-star rating and a review. It helps the podcast on the business side. Also, I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear your comments, feedback, whatever you want to tell me. I love to hear what everyone else thinks. You can get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I can't wait to hear from you guys. This is exciting. The truth is gonna come out. I'll be back in your ears next week. Until then, bye guys.